Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yaakov, I was thinking about you that maybe you had a quieter day today.
The whole world did. Everybody had a quieter day.
All right, I hear that.
I'm sure he did, but people learned how to go back to texting.
Very weird. But the best line that came out, hands down, I can't believe WhatsApp is down the one day they had room to take a small package from Muncie to Lakewood. That's the line that came at it today.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying that you probably put down WhatsApp, Yaakov, you know?
I mean, you know what? They texted instead. That's all. They text instead, which I wish they would do always. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, what did they say? What the pshan in that outage was gone a whole day, right?
It's back now.
Yeah, it was down for like 6 hours or something.
Yeah, it went back like 6:30 or something.
Smells like a hack, probably.
Yeah.
Yaakov, why do you prefer texting over WhatsApp?
Because I can have a lot more options of answers on my watch. Doesn't give too many options from the watch.
Now I got to the bottom of it about.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because WhatsApp is still a better platform for texting.
I don't know. Well, I don't find much difference. Okay, let's go. We have a lot to do. So, what did we leave off by? Ein matzina sa'ar, right? Yeah, that's where we left off.
Where we at?
Yes.
Lama gimel beis. Ein matzina sa'ar. 4 lines up from the
Gimel,
bottom.
Amad Beis.
Lama gimel beis, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so ein matzina sa'ar. So you're not allowed to. Why are you not allowed to make new fire? My timer. Mishum to come Yom Tov. You're being moiled on Yom Tov. You're making something new on Yom Tov, which you're not allowed to do. Right? So what does that mean? You're taking something that wasn't in existence and you're making it in existence. Right? So that's why you could take a flame and light something from that flame. Right? I think we started this. Did we start this last night or we didn't? I don't remember. Either way.
What do you mean? What does that mean? Why is it not considered noiled if you take it from flame to flame?
No, you see, that's another thing. So according to Rashi, at least, and according to most, noilad and moilad are two different things. We cannot confuse noilad with moilad. Noilad is a muktza issue with something that wasn't in existence that was born on Yom Tov. Moilad is you created something new. So you created fire. Right? So since you created this something new, you're not allowed to create new fire. That's why you need to leave on a yard side candle or something like that. Like this, you can take fire from there because you're not creating new fire. You're just extending fire.
Isn't that why is it not called what is it called havara?
Havara on Yom Tov is mutter.
From candle to candle, you can't strike a match.
Right, because that's
nothing.
moiled. Because that's moiled.
Why is it not called havara? Why is it called?
Because Havara is mutter on Yom Tov. Havara on Yom Tov is mutter, just not from scratch.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So that is so. What's with electricity? What's with electricity? Right? Can you turn on a light? So there were shittas, and the Aruch HaShulchan was one of them, and he writes in the tshuva that from what the way electricity was explained to him, he said there's electricity running through the wires, and when you turn on the light or turn on electricity, all you're doing is extending the electricity.
I know her from family. Rosh Yaakov, for years. I mean, it was always they wouldn't shut it off, but they would put lights on Yom Tov.
Correct. That's because they were coming from these opinions, and there were others back from the early 1900s who said putting on electricity is no different than extending one flame from another flame, and therefore you're allowed to turn on electricity on Yom Tov.
Wow.
Right? But that's already been disproven. Yeah. So that's that.
We had this on Shavuos one year.
Right. We discussed it on Shavuos. So we don't. Lamaisa, we say electricity is a new circuit, and therefore you're not allowed to turn on electricity. But those that if you know people that do turn on electricity on Yom Tov, that's where they're coming from, because they learn that it's not moiled. Anyways, okay, let's see. And you're not allowed to make these plates heated up, right? Micah of it. So what are you doing? Meaning, what's wrong? We're talking about brand new plates. If nay, you need to check to see if they can withstand the heat, right? Meaning, so you got these new plates. You have no idea if they can withstand the heat or not. So therefore, if you're going to use them for the first time on Yom Tov, so you might end up breaking them, and then it ends up being that you turned on a fire for no reason. So you had tircha on Yom Tov for no reason. So that's the first reason. Some say no, you have to you have to harden them. Meaning, we know that every pot needs to. We had this before, where you put it into the oven, and you need it to harden the plates. So that's what's going to happen if you use these plates for the first time on Yom Tov. You're going to end up. It's sort of like a tikkun kli. You're fixing the kli by making them harden.
What about the shmitta that holds that machshir eichel is good?
If you hold, then that would be okay.
It's not according to Rabbi Yehuda?
Yeah, l'chara is not according to Rabbi Yehuda. That's yes, I agree with you. Right? According to Rabbi Yehuda, if you need the plate, then it's okay.
Wasn't the maskana according to Rabbi Yehuda that's after? It's
only if you. I don't know if that was according to Rabbi Yehuda or that was according to the way we paskin. I don't remember.
It was according to Rabbi Yehuda.
It was in Rabbi Yehuda.
In Rabbi Yehuda, after is mutter. Last it's after maybe going.
Yeah, I don't know if we said that in Rabbi Yehuda or not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let's see weiter. So Tanan Hasam Darsa. Oy, shatarfa b'kaisel. So let's say you trampled, right, and stepped on a bird, or you or shatarfa b'kaisel knocked it against the wall, or sharatzis a behema, or an animal stepped on top of the bird, umefarcheses, and it's jumping around, meaning it can't. It's in pain, so it's jumping around. And it can't rest. And then you waited 24 hours, and then you shechted it. So ksheira, that animal is kosher, right? Which is quite an interesting thing, because you think, what, this animal is no way. How could this animal not be treif? But the halacha is that it's fine. Yeah. So Amar Rabbi Elazar Bar Yanai, Mishum Rabbi Elazar Ben Antigonus, tzricha b'dika, but you have to check it. You have to check it to see if there's meaning schechted. Check it to see if there's any makas that would make it into a treifa, and if so, then you're not allowed to, right? Then you're not. I mean, if there's simanim of treifa, you're not allowed to eat it. If there's no simanim, then you are allowed to eat it, right? So which Rashi points out. It's like normally you don't have to check an animal for treifus. Animals have a chazaka that, or a roiv, is that they're kosher. We do it out to chumrah.
What happened here? I'm sorry. Did this guy took this bird and threw it up against the wall? What happened to Tzar Ba'al
Yeah.
Chaim?
No, I don't know if he did it on purpose.
No, so accidentally, shogeg.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So whatever it is, it went against the wall or whatever it is. So it wasn't well. So the thing is, it's still fine, right? But he's saying you have to wait 24 hours. You still have to be bodyguard even if you wait 24 hours, right? Fine. So can you shecht it on Yom Tov? Right? Are we machzik it as a reis on Yom Tov or not? Right? Meaning, if you machzik it as a reis, then how can you shecht it? Right? Because you might shecht it and it ends up being treif. So Amrale, so he told him back, you're not allowed to cook up these plates in order to roast on them. We clear what's he going to do? Right? Meaning, what's the problem? We're talking about these new plates because you need to be baidik them. Right? So therefore, you see that you're not allowed to do it because you're not allowed to do it because you're not allowed to use these new plates because you might end up burning them, using them for no reason. Yeah. So the same thing with the shmitta. So he says, no, we didn't learn like that. We learned because you might have to you needed to complete the plate, not because you might end up doing work. So therefore, it's not a raya either way. It's not a raya either way. Hold on 1 second, please.
As we pause for station identification on the Daf
Paris,
Yomi.
just take over. Continue where he was.
Oh no, now you're already calling me out. That's not fair. Where's the place, Rebbe? Put your finger on the place. No. We don't do that on
reserved
this.
for like liner and stuff like that.
Yeah. That we
Parrots, what's the next word, Parrots?
yeah. Reb Aaron, I hear you put in an application for the Mets. Is he on?
I'm here. What?
For Rojas, no. I wanna submit your resume.
You could. I have no problem. If your chauffeur doesn't have to coach on Shabbos, I won't coach on Shabbos either. No.
Talking about how
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. A little shtickle emergency there. Okay.
Yaakov,
Yes.
I'm just curious. The race that's being created, it's enough. I'm just trying to understand. It's enough to ruin a right, or is it enough to say that we should be machmer on Yom Tov?
All he's saying is that it needs bedika. It's not ruining the right.
So I'm saying, why can't we just say you go bust a right? But Maisa, you need a bedika. But mitzad being machmer on Yom Tov, why can't we say the right is enough to go ahead and allow you to at least make the attempt to shech? The reason why you're able to do shechted.
He's saying you do shechted.
I know, but why are we normally allowed to do shechita on Yom Tov? Because right behemoths are not treifus.
Correct.
So what is the race enough to make it that we're going to ignore the Raiv? Or is it just Al Tzchumrah that we're saying this? Because the Raiv is allowing us. Normally, if it wasn't for the Raiv, it would be usher.
Right.
So is the Reis is saying we ignore the Raiv, or we bring Machmer? Is Stam a Chumrah Ba'alma, or the Reis is really doing something here?
I don't know. Is it a Chumrah Ba'alma?
Isn't that the Shaila?
That is whether it's a Chumrah?
No, whether it destroys the roiv.
Well, that's what we're masupik about.
That is his shaila, whether it destroys the roiv or not.
Right.
I know. I'm just curious what the Gemara is trying to say when the Gemara. I don't know if that's the Gemara Shela. It could be the Gemara's stam. It doesn't seem like the other din of Ra'afim is the din in Roiv. So is it Sam Chumer Ba'alma that this Gemara is discussing that that's going to make it usher?
That's what it seems. I understood it that we're.
It would make more sense anyways because you have a Roiv. A Reisa is not going to remove a Roiv.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Roivs and all that. Right? Okay. Let's see about it. It's a Tanya. Echad maybe it's a or. One guy brings the fire. Echad maybe it's a eitzim. One guy brings the wood. Echad shoyves esa kedera, and one puts the kedera onto the fire. Echad maybe it's a mayim. One brings the water and puts it into the pot. Meaning you got a bunch of guys combining here to cook. Echad noisa and the schechted tavla, and one puts spices in. Echad megis, and one mixes it. So that's 6 guys, right?
Where's the food? Where's the actual food?
Seems like they're just trying to make a coffee. I don't know. It seems like that's
all. Wait, everybody forgot the food.
They forgot the food. Right. Like how many yeshiva guys does it take to make a coffee? Right. So 6 in this case. Right. So kulon chayav, and they're all chayav. Right. If they do this on obviously it's talking about Shabbos, not Yom Tov. So they're all chayav. Tanya Achron chayav kulon paturim. We said in a brisa only the last guy's chayav, the rest of them are potter. So we say, "Lokasha had I see or meikara, had I see or lebesoif." One is talking about where the fire was there first. So if the fire was already there first, so each guy that's involved with cooking is going to be over. But if the guys put the food in the water into the pot, and put the pot in place, and put it in this and that, and then the guy comes and brings the fire, then obviously the last guy is the only guy that did anything wrong. Okay, so what's the Gemara want with this? So Bishlam Akulu Kavdi Maisa. So all of them, they all did a Maisa. L'saif is as a Kedera, Maika of it, but the guy that put on the pot just put it into place. What did he do? He didn't do anything. He just put a pot there. So Rav Shimon ben Lakish, meaning he didn't put water into the pot. He just put a pot on top of the fire. So Rav Shimon ben Lakish, Hacha beKedera Chadasha, we're talking about a new pot. Umshum Libon. Ra'afim naguba, and the reason is because they're heating up these ra'afim, these whatever these things are, these plates, these tiles, right? And that's going to complete the pot. That's going to make it usable, and therefore that would be a malacha. So just by him putting the pot on the fire, is going to be.
Was that his intention?
L'chari, you have to say that was his intention, right? Because he must have known it was a new pot.
Was his intention to cook, or intention was to harden the pot?
I don't know.
Where did he put the pot? He put it on the flame?
He put it, well, we're talking about, he put it on the flame. But even so
I'm saying it's hard for him to say he wasn't going to cook when he's putting it on a flame.
Yeah, but he just put an empty pot on a flame. What are you doing? What malacha is that?
But what did he think was going to happen?
Could be that the next guy's going to do it. He figured he's getting away easy. He took the job that he's a smart aleck, right? 6 guys decide they're going to cook on Shabbos, right? He decides he's going to take the one job that won't maybe hire him. But now we're saying no, because since it was a new pot, that it is mechayev him.
Fine. Gemara so bring this Zariah to the Amrila on the first line of Gemara.
That's what it seems.
Rather than the Vodkan.
I don't know if it's a raya to it, but that's why that's why the Gemara is bringing it. Doesn't necessarily mean that applies to the case in the Gemara by Yom Tov, but it's certainly I think that's why the Gemara is bringing such a thing.
And if you learn that Gemara is the Vodkan, the pshat there is to check them, and this doesn't work.
And a chanami, but there is such a concept of completing pots by putting on fire. Whether that applies to Ra'afim or not, that's a different story. But the concept definitely exists, right? So Tana v'kirayim chadashim, brand new ovens. They're like any other kelim, and they're allowed to be taken in the chatzah, right? And Rashi says it means it's lav dafka new. It's saying even new, but kol shekain old. I will ain't sachanais on shemen, but you're not allowed to smear oil on them. Ain't tashanais on b'matlis. You're not allowed to shine it with like a shmitta. And you're not allowed to pour cold water on it in order to, right? That's another way of taking metal pots. When they get hot, then you pour cold water on it and it like solidifies it. So you're not allowed to do that on these new ovens. But if the reason why you're putting the cold water on it is in order to be able to bake it, right? Because you need to, if it's too hot to start baking, so you need to cool it down, then that would be mutter. Yeah, so again, the same concept. So it seems like back then they cooked with the head and the feet, with the hair on it. So you're allowed to put it into hot water to try and it'll get off the hair. And you're allowed to burn the hair with fire. But you're not allowed to, charsis is like, what do you call it? Like a hair removal thing. Right?
Lime?
Like lime, yeah. You can't do that. You can't do like hair removal, and not with mud, and not with sid, right? Because those are mamish. That's what they do during the week to remove the hair. So then you can't do that. You're not even allowed to cut it with the scissors, which is also interesting because why not? It's not alive; it's dead, right? Because when Rashi says, because it looks like you need the hair. And you're not allowed to cut vegetables with vegetable scissors, right? And obviously we're talking about not when they're attached to the ground. Yeah, fine. But you're allowed to prepare kundus and akavias, right, which Rashi says they mina yerokas that have a lot of tircha. There's a lot of tircha with them. So but those you're allowed to do. You're allowed to cook and bake in a purni in a large oven. And you're allowed to heat hot water in an antichi, which is like an urn. That's water that's kept for a long time. Meaning, normally people use this urn for long term. It stays for a bunch of days. So people might see you filling it up and think, oh, he's filling up his urn on Yom Tov for after Yom Tov. So you're not allowed to do that. And you're not allowed to bake in a large purni. Shema tifchach is because it might break, right? Meaning not a large, a new one. You can't use it from scratch, like we've been saying, because if you use it from scratch, it's not used. How do you know that it's strong enough and it might break? And then your whole fire was for no reason. That's all these cases are where it's tircha, weekday activity, or maybe it's just hasn't been used enough, so it might end up breaking. Yeah. So Tanarabana.
What's halacha l'maisa today? Can you chop the end of a carrot off?
With a scissors?
Even with a knife, that's what's normal today.
Yeah, I don't know if it says a tispira shaloi. I'm sorry, it says what's the lashon?
Yeah, tispira shaloi.
Yeah, it's sounds like a special tool.
And Rashi also puts it over here, Demai Dechazi. It's an Aris Ayin, it looks like over here. This one.
Yeah.
Demai Dechazi Savar Shalaktan Hayoy. It's an Aris Ayin issue that he picked it today, so cutting it off with this knife shouldn't make any difference.
Correct. It's a little interesting because if you're using the special scissors, so why would that make it look like you cut it off today? Right?
No, it could be Gemara saying here that this kind of Marasayin is shinui without.
Yeah.
But today that's not a shinui because we wouldn't use. There's no carrot scissors.
There are vegetables. I mean, there's chicken scissors.
Chicken scissors. I never heard of a vegetable scissors.
Right. No, I never heard of that either. And I don't think anybody on the staff would know anything about vegetable scissors, anyways. Right?
That's a great introduction for my question.
Okay, go ahead.
What's the difference between using an oven that's new that may crack and previously we had where a brick may fall out, you're allowed to replace it? So why are they saying you could replace a brick that falls out, but if an oven cracks, don't use it because it may crack.
Right, but I thought this here it cracks and it's not going to be usable. There, the brick oven, I think it would still be usable. It's just not going to bake as well. Here, I think the whole oven is just going to crack. But I that's what I thought. But I don't know if that's true. Right? Same with that brick, right? So the Gemara said he asked his wife, I really want bread, so I really, right? So it's mashma like he wants good bread. It's mashma like it would make bread, it just wouldn't be as good. Right? That's I think it would be. Okay, so Torah Rabbanan, ain't noifchin b'mapuach. You're not allowed to blow a fire with the mapuach is the thing that you blow it with. Right? There's a special device that you blow fires with.
Bellows.
A bellow. Yeah, that's the thing. You know what? Looks like an accordion or something, right?
What's an accordion?
Yeah. That's the things in between the buses. Yeah. So aval noifchin b'shveiferes, but you are allowed to blow it with a tube, right? You take a tube and you blow it. Yeah, ve'ein mesaknin es hashvud. You're not allowed to fix a spit, right? Again, like Akiva, this is all not like Rabbi Yehuda, right? Or you say it's like Rabbi Yehuda and then it got ruined, like Gershon said, or it got ruined before Yom Tov. That's the way Rashi says it, right? Ve'ein mechaded, and you can't sharpen it either. Tana Rabbanan, ein mefatzin es hakana. You're not allowed to crack a kana, a reed, litzleis by maliach, in order to roast fish, right? We said that you need to always put fish on something. You can't put it straight on the grill. So you're not allowed to cut a reed to do that. I'm a fatzin as a egois, the matlis, but you're allowed to crack nuts in a clothing. Vein choshesh shematikra, and we're not choshesh that maybe the clothing will tear, right? So, and Rashi says, why are we not choshesh for it to tear? Because tearing is only a problem if you plan on sewing up what you're tearing. And here you don't plan on sewing up what you're tearing. So therefore, it's not a problem. Fine. Zog the Mishna weiter. A person can stand on the muktza, right? It's quite interesting because we've been dealing with muktza for the last bunch of blot. And on this Amud, Rabban, this is for you. On this Amud, we're going to use muktza twice. That has nothing to do with the word muktza, right? Just in case Beya is not confusing enough. So right here at the end, the last few blots. So it's going to be, they're really going to make us work hard. Yeah. So again, here's a person standing on a muktza, right? Which means in the field, like we had in the field behind this house, Erev Shabbos b'shvius, on Erev Shabbos in shmitta. And I'm going to eat it from here tomorrow. Now, what's a pshat? Because in shmitta, you don't have to take off trumos and maasers. So there's nothing to take off because everything you can only eat from hefker fields anyways. So there's no trumos and maasers. So therefore, a person can stay on Erev Shabbos and say, tomorrow I'm going to go into the field. Obviously, the stuff has to be pre-picked, and I'm going to take from there and there, and then it's fine. The Chachamim say, no, you can't just go and say, I'm going to take from this field. You have to actually point out which things you're taking from. Why? Because they don't hold the breira, right? Again, if you hold like the Tanakama, so you're just waving at the field and you're saying, I'm going to take tomorrow from any one of these, which we had way back in the beginning of Masechta, right? You go, do you have to, it was Machlokes B'Sham V'Hillel, do you have to pick which chickens you're taking to shecht on Yom Tov, or do you have to actually lift them up? So it's the same Machlokes here. So the Chachamim say that you have to actually mark off where you're taking it from. Now, before we go weiter, we know that for trumos and maasers, you're not chayav to take off trumos and maasers until the whole process is done, or it's a few things. Either till the food the vegetables are totally done, or you bring it into the house
through the door,
right? Through the door, not through the windows or the roof, and it also has to be done. Or Shabbos. Shabbos is kaveya too, right? So, which is one of the reasons why you're not allowed to eat before Kiddush. Yeah, because it is even an arai, the eating was not allowed unless on Shabbos. So normally you're in the field, so you can take a few bites of food and it's no problem, even if there's no trumos and maasers taken off. What are you saying, Rabban?
So Shabbos makes it kfiyas, yeah?
Yeah.
So why do you need, why isn't a chila arai enough on Shabbos? When you make kiddush on a schnapps, have one piece of herring and one crack, and that should be enough for Suda, because it's made a kavias. It's not a rye anymore. It's
I hear.
kvias.
I mean, Shabbos makes it a
No,
kviyas.
Shabbos just telling, that's what the Gemara is saying. Shabbos creates a kvias.
Right.
So when I have to go Meshiga with all the shirim on Shabbos, Shabbos, whatever I eat makes it kvias.
I that sounds vaguely familiar, that kasha. I don't remember when I saw it.
Maybe you
I
saw it
know
in the
what
Rock Show of Achleis Mishnah.
No, I know what I meant to look for it today and I didn't get around to it, which is some want to tie it that Yom Tov is not koveya. So therefore, maybe Yom Tov you're allowed to eat before Kiddush. That's what I remember based on this. It's a good clue. It's one-upping you, Rabban. They're one-upping you on that one, right? So I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look. I'll try and look. Okay, so let's see. So now, Tanan Hasan, we learned over there in the Mishnah. Tinaikas shetamnu ta'enim erev Shabbos. So tinaikas that hid figs, they hid them before Shabbos, to eating them on Shabbos. V'shakhu, right? And they forgot to take off maaser. So now what? Obviously they can't eat it on Shabbos because it's kavua. So the maaser Shabbos lo yochlu ela im kein asru. They cannot take it. They can't eat it on maaser Shabbos unless they take off maaser. Right? Because why? Because Shabbos was kaveya them, even though they were hidden in the field. Right? But Shabbos makes it kavua. I'm sorry. If somebody spreads out the figs in his yard that they should dry, right, which means that the final, even though they're ripe, but the final process is not there yet, so therefore it would not be chayiv in my trumos and maasers. The kids can eat from them arai and upaturim, and they are potter. Right, this is not talking about on Shabbos. Yeah, this is bringing two things, that Shabbos makes it kavua and you have to take off maaser, and if it's still put out to dry, it means it's not complete, so you don't have to take off maaser. So Shabbos ma'al shetikva muktza. Here he says muktza has no shaykhs to the word muktza the way we use it. Right? Shabbos ma'al shetikva muktza l'maaser. Is Shabbos kaveya that you need to take off maaser, but davar shalai nigmar malachta, if its malacha is not done, which doesn't mean malacha means it's not ripe. So you have these figs on Shabbos, they're not ripe yet. They need another couple of days. Is Shabbos kaveya for maaser now, even though it's not ripe? Meaning normally, as long as the food is not ripe, you don't have to take off maaser. But maybe Shabbos makes you have to take off maaser. Mi amrina kivin desiva karas l'Shabbos einig. Then we call Shabbos einig kava. So therefore, it's even if the malacha is not done. It's only with something that's the malacha is nigmar, it was kaveya, but davar shalai nigmar malachta like kava. Shabbos will not make something that's light nigmar malacha. So malay Shabbos kavas. Shabbos is kaveya. Bein b'davar shenigmar malachta. Bein b'davar shalai nigmar malachta. Shabbos is always kaveya. So malay ve'ema Shabbos dumi the chotzer. Maybe we should say Shabbos is dumi the chotzer. To the yard, just like chotzer is not kaveya only with something whose malacha is done, meaning it's totally ripe. Also, Shabbos is not going to be kaveya only with something that's nigmar malachta. So Malay, we have, it's like a Messiah. Shabbos kavas bein b'davar shenigmar malachta, bein b'davar shaloi nigmar malachta. Shabbos is kaveya for either one. Right, so Amar Marzutra, we also learned the same thing. And then another thing. A person can stand on a muktza erev Shabbos b'shvius, like our Mishnah. Time at the shvius, the la barasira. The reason why he's allowed to stand by the field, and he's allowed to say that tomorrow we're going to take from the field, is because on shmitta there's no maaser. But in the other years of the shmitta cycle, hachanami da aser. It would be aser my timer. So why is it aser? It's not done yet. It's still in the field. La mishum the Shabbos kava. Isn't it because Shabbos is kaveya? So when it says loy shani hasam kivin damer mikanani aichal amachar kava leilave. No, since he said tomorrow I'm eating from here, So that's like showing that it's done. It's edible. So since it's edible, it needs to take maaser. Gemara says, "My area Shabbos afilu b'chol nami." What is it? Why then Shabbos even during the week too? Right? That it should be kaveh. If he says I'm eating from here tomorrow, it should also be so. Kamash malan the tevel muchan hu eitel Shabbos. The tevel is considered muchan by Shabbos. Shem avar b'tiknu mesukin. That if you are ever in mesakin it, then it's mesakin. Meaning, if on erev Shabbos, if on Shabbos by mistake somebody separated trumos and maaser, that's in the next Mishna. You're not allowed to separate trumos and maaser on Shabbos. It's like fixing your food. But if somebody did, we're going to say that it's going to be okay.
Fixing your food.
You're fixing your food. Your food's not edible, and now you're taking off trumos and maaser, so it is edible.
No, but what's wrong with fixing your food?
It's like fixing
food.
So what? But it's
You
fixing.
cook the food from scratch.
It's similar to fixing. It was unedible. Now you're making it edible.
And cooking is making it from edible.
No, it's not. It's edible, and it's
Cooking a raw piece of meat is edible.
what?
A raw piece
Could
of meat.
be. But you're taking something that's usher to eat and you're making it mutter. So it's nira kimasakin. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll continue this. If the sugi continues tomorrow. All right. Zagazam. I gotta just run. So.
You need something?